The galaxy's most baffling mystery. Ambassador Vret of the Sorith Collective reclined in his chair, the dim glow of the Galactic Council chamber reflecting off his scaled carapace. He held the datapad in his claws, its glowing surface displaying a report that was both fascinating and deeply unsettling. The title read, Human Assassination Failure Analysis. 50 years of unresolved contracts. The report was unlike anything he had ever encountered. Vret, a firm believer in statistics and probabilities, prided himself on his ability to analyze data and find logical explanations for even the most bizarre phenomena. But this was madness. The Guild of Silent Shadows, an ancient and feared organization responsible for eliminating high-value targets across the galaxy, had an unmatched success rate. Over thousands of years, they had eliminated hive queens, psionic emperors, and even rogue AI overlords. Yet when it came to humans, their perfect record had not just faltered, it had imploded. Vret's mandibles twitched as he read further. Human targets. Total contracts, 321. Successful eliminations, 0. He blinked. Surely this was an error. The guild didn't fail. And yet, the data was irrefutable. Director Lek, the guild's current leader, was present at the session, her shadowy form partially obscured by her species' natural cloak of bioluminescent mist. She sat motionless, her 6 limbs folded neatly as the council members murmured around her. It was a rare sight to see Lek in such a state. She was known for her confidence and unshakable demeanor. But now she radiated an aura of quiet humiliation. Vret cleared his throat, his voice cutting through the chatter. Director Lek, he began, his tone as measured as ever. Are you telling me that the most feared assassination guild in the galaxy has failed to eliminate a single human target in over 50 years? Lek hesitated for a fraction of a second, a delay that spoke volumes. That is correct, Ambassador Vret, she admitted, her voice low and clipped. The chamber erupted into chaos. Representatives from dozens of species exchanged confused glances and hurried whispers. The concept of the guild failing was unthinkable, yet here was Lek, admitting it outright. Supreme Chancellor Orin, an ancient and crystalline being who had presided over the council for centuries, raised a glowing appendage. The chamber quieted immediately. Director Lek, Orin said, his voice resonating with authority. You owe this council an explanation. How is this possible? Lek adjusted her posture, her mist-like aura swirling with faint irritation. The guild has conducted extensive investigations into this anomaly, she began. We have deployed our best operatives, utilized the most advanced technologies, and accounted for every known variable. The conclusion is both infuriating and scientifically baffling. She gestured toward the central holographic display. A series of images and video feeds appeared, showcasing failed assassination attempts on various humans across different locations and time periods. The first clip showed a cloaked figure sneaking into a human residence. The operative, armed with a plasma blade, crept toward the target's bedroom. But as they stepped on a loose floorboard, a chain reaction began. A ceiling fan dislodged, a glass vase toppled, and a shelf collapsed. The noise startled the target, who instinctively threw a nearby object, a shoe, that struck the operative squarely in the face, knocking them unconscious. The second clip was equally absurd. A human diplomat in a public park was the target. The assassin, perched in a tree with a high-powered rifle, was moments from taking the shot when a stray frisbee, hurled by a child, struck the rifle barrel, causing the shot to miss. The target, oblivious to the attempt, continued feeding pigeons. Lek sighed audibly. The incidents you are witnessing are not isolated, she said. They are part of a pattern. We have dubbed it the human factor. Vret frowned. The human factor. Lek nodded. Humans appear to generate improbable outcomes. The more sophisticated or precise the assassination attempt, the more spectacularly it backfires. It is as though reality itself conspires in their favor. The chamber was silent, the representatives digesting this bizarre revelation. Surely this is just coincidence. Ambassador Jern of the Avarice Syndicate suggested, his feathery crest fluttering nervously. A series of statistical anomalies. Lek's mist-like aura flared slightly, a sign of frustration. "We thought so too," she said. "Until we analyzed the data, probability models, quantum simulations, and even psionic foresight indicate that humans operate under unique circumstances. It's as if the laws of probability bend around them." Supreme Chancellor Orin leaned forward, his crystalline body emitting a faint hum. "Unique how?" Lek gestured to the hologram again. "Humans are the only known species to consistently survive events that should be fatal. They fall from great heights and walk away with minor injuries. They drink substances that would kill other species and call it recreational. And when faced with mortal danger, they do not simply survive. They thrive." Another clip played, showing the human soldier disarming an explosive device. The bomb detonated, yet the soldier emerged unharmed, shielded by an overturned table that had toppled precisely in the right direction. Ambassador Vret's claws clicked against the table. "So, you're saying humans are unkillable?" Lek hesitated. "Not unkillable, but extraordinarily difficult to eliminate. Their resilience, adaptability, and, dare I say, luck make them a statistical outlier in every sense. Even when they are unaware of the danger, random chance seems to intervene on their behalf." Vret's eyes narrowed. "And what is the Guild's current policy regarding human contracts?" Lek exhaled sharply. "We have ceased accepting them. Instead, we send strongly worded letters to the clients, advising them to reconsider. It is more cost-effective." The chamber erupted into murmurs again. The galaxy's deadliest assassins, reduced to writing letters. Ambassador Jern let out a disbelieving squawk. "This is absurd." "It is reality," Lek countered. "And until we understand the human factor, we must accept that humans are a unique anomaly, one that defies all conventional logic." Far away on Earth, in a small, unassuming library, Derek Thompson adjusted his name tag and hummed to himself as he organized books. He was blissfully unaware that the Guild had classified him as unassailable after a particularly convoluted failed assassination attempt involving a mop, a loose light fixture, and an errant cat. For Derek, it was just another ordinary day. For the galaxy, it was proof that humanity was far more than they appeared to be. The chaos of human resilience. The council chamber remained in stunned silence long after Director Lek's final words. No one dared speak as the weight of the revelations settled upon them. For centuries, the Guild of Silent Shadows had been the ultimate answer to difficult political problems. When negotiations broke down, when threats loomed too large, the Guild's assassins quietly resolved matters with unparalleled precision. But now this bedrock of galactic order had faltered. And the cause? A species so ordinary in appearance and resources that most council members had initially dismissed them as irrelevant. Humans. Supreme Chancellor Orin finally broke the silence. "Director Lek, you claim that humans defy the laws of probability, but surely there is an explanation. Something measurable, tangible. This cannot simply be chance." Lek's bioluminescent mist swirled in agitation. "If there is an explanation, Chancellor, it eludes us. Our analysts have proposed dozens of theories. Biological adaptations, subconscious psionics, quantum interference, none hold under scrutiny. Humanity remains incomprehensible." Ambassador Vret leaned forward, his claws tapping rhythmically on the polished table. "And what of their psychology? Perhaps their behavior, irrational as it often seems, contributes to their survival. What do we know of the human mind?" A holographic chart materialized above the table, displaying a dizzying array of data points. Historical records, behavioral studies, and cultural analysis. Lek gestured to the chart. Their psychology is as baffling as their physical resilience. Humans possess an extraordinary capacity for optimism, even in situations that would drive other species to despair. They exhibit a willingness to take risks far beyond what most species consider rational. And then there is their humor. Humor. Vret repeated, his voice tinged with disbelief. Yes, Lek confirmed. Humans use humor as a coping mechanism, even in the direst of circumstances. This strange trait appears to bolster their mental resilience and, by extension, their ability to survive. A video clip played, showing a human soldier pinned down during a fierce battle. Instead of panicking, the soldier yelled, "Hey, maybe if I yell louder, they'll run out of ammo." The surrounding humans laughed before launching a coordinated counterattack that turned the tide of the skirmish. The council members exchanged uneasy glances. To laugh in the face of death was unsettling. It's more than just humor, Lek continued. Humans possess a near-irrational belief in their own capacity to overcome challenges. They call it hope. Ambassador Jern squawked indignantly. Hope. Hope is not a strategy. For humans, it often is, Lek countered. And somehow, it works. The anatomy of a failure. To illustrate her point, Lek brought up another recording. The room dimmed as a holographic projection filled the chamber. "This is one of our most infamous failures," she explained. The target, Henry Larson, a human merchant operating on the fringe worlds. A seemingly insignificant figure, chosen more as a test case than a true threat. The assassin deployed was Varen Ekta, one of our best operatives. The recording began. Varen Ekta, a sleek and silent predator from a race known for their perfect coordination and unparalleled stealth, moved through the shadows of a human colony's marketplace. His target, Larson, was obliviously arranging crates of supplies. The assassin approached, his plasma blade drawn. The mission was perfect. No witnesses, no obstacles, a clear path to the target. And then, the hologram froze as Larson bent down to tie his shoe, completely unaware of Varen X's presence. At the same moment, a stray dog bolted through the market. Its leash caught on a passing cargo drone. The leash snagged on a nearby table, which tipped over, spilling its contents, a precariously balanced stack of watermelons. The watermelons tumbled in perfect synchrony, one after another, creating a chain reaction that culminated in the final fruit rolling directly into Varen X's legs. The assassin tripped, fell into a fountain, and accidentally discharged his plasma blade, slicing through his own cloaking device and rendering him visible to the entire market. The humans, thinking he was part of some elaborate performance, applauded wildly. Larson handed him a towel, patted him on the back, and said, "Nice act, buddy." The recording ended. The chamber erupted into chaos once more. "This is absurd," Jern cried. "How can an assassin of Varen X's caliber be undone by a dog and some fruit?" Lek's voice was calm but firm. "This is precisely the problem, Ambassador. Every attempt ends in similarly absurd circumstances. No matter how careful the planning, no matter how skilled the operative, some improbable chain of events inevitably intervenes. The human enigma." Ambassador Vret's claws tapped faster. "Director Lek, you mentioned biological and quantum studies. Has the Guild discovered anything unique about human physiology?" Lek nodded. "Humans possess remarkable physical redundancies. They can lose limbs and survive. Their immune systems are extraordinarily adaptive. Their brains are capable of remarkable plasticity, allowing them to recover from injuries that would leave other species permanently impaired." She paused. "But none of this fully explains the phenomenon. For every biological advantage, there are equally perplexing disadvantages. Humans are fragile in many ways, susceptible to diseases, extreme temperatures, and oxygen deprivation. Yet despite these vulnerabilities, they endure." Supreme Chancellor Oren's crystalline form pulsed faintly. "And their technology? Surely it offers some advantage." Limited, Lek replied. While humans are resourceful, their technology is not significantly superior to that of other species. What sets them apart is their ability to improvise. They can repurpose seemingly useless objects into tools or weapons, often in ways that defy conventional logic. The Council's dilemma. As the discussion continued, the mood in the chamber grew increasingly tense. Humanity, once dismissed as a minor player on the galactic stage, now loomed as an enigma. A species that could not be controlled, predicted, or eliminated. What do we do? Jern demanded. We cannot simply ignore this. If the Guild cannot eliminate humans, what hope do we have of containing them? Lek's mist swirled again. The Guild has already revised its policies. We will no longer accept contracts against humans. Instead, we recommend avoiding conflict with them altogether. Ambassador Vret frowned. Avoidance is not a strategy. No, Lek agreed. But it is the only viable option we have. Until we understand the human factor, we must treat them as a chaotic variable, one that cannot be controlled, only mitigated. Far from the council chambers, on a quiet colony world, a human engineer named Sarah adjusted the settings on her malfunctioning toaster. She had no idea that her absent-minded tinkering would inadvertently stabilize a nearby quantum rift, preventing a catastrophic energy surge that could have wiped out half the planet. For Sarah, it was just another Tuesday. For the galaxy, it was another reminder that humans were far more dangerous and far more valuable than anyone had ever imagined. The Galactic Council's breaking point. The Galactic Council was no stranger to chaos. It had seen the rise and fall of empires, the collapse of entire star systems, and the unearthing of mysteries older than time itself. Yet the topic of humans, specifically their improbable survival against all odds, had thrown the Council into a level of disarray not seen in centuries. The chamber was filled with whispers and muted arguments as delegates from countless species exchanged theories, concerns, and outright disbelief about what had been presented. The human factor, as the Guild of Silent Shadows had named it, wasn't just an anomaly. It was a crisis of understanding. Supreme Chancellor Oren's crystalline form glimmered faintly as he raised an appendage for silence. Director Lek, he said, his voice resonating across the chamber, we understand the failures of the Guild in dealing with human targets, but what we still fail to grasp is why. What is it about humanity that makes them immune to conventional methods of elimination? Lek's bioluminescent mist pulsed faintly, a gesture of discomfort. As I have explained, Chancellor, we do not fully understand the phenomenon. However, we have uncovered patterns that may provide some insight. She gestured toward the central holographic display. The images shifted to a sprawling web of data, each node connected by glowing lines. This, she said, is an analysis of all known incidents involving human survival under extreme circumstances. The common thread is not simply their resilience or resourcefulness. It is their ability to manipulate probability itself, even unknowingly. Ambassador Vret of the Sorith Collective leaned forward, his scaled fingers gripping the edge of his podium. Are you suggesting that humans possess some sort of natural probability manipulation ability? That they can bend the laws of chance? Lek hesitated, not intentionally, but the evidence suggests that their actions, or sometimes their inactions, create ripple effects that disrupt conventional outcomes. It's as though the universe itself conspires to keep them alive. The incident at Alteris Prime. To illustrate her point, Lek brought up another video. This footage comes from a recent mission on Alteris Prime, she began. The Guild was tasked with eliminating a human engineer, Marcus Reed, who had unknowingly uncovered sensitive data about classified Council projects. The operative assigned to the mission was one of our most skilled, operating under optimal conditions. The recording began. It showed Marcus Reed working in a bustling spaceport, oblivious to the silent assassin stalking him from the shadows. The operative, cloaked and armed with a precision plasma rifle, had positioned themselves on a nearby rooftop, ready to take the shot. And this, Lek continued, is where it all began to unravel. The assassin's plasma rifle discharged, the shot perfectly aligned with its target. But at that exact moment, a stray maintenance drone malfunctioned and veered into the line of fire, absorbing the plasma bolt. The explosion startled a group of nearby dock workers who accidentally knocked over a stack of cargo crates. One of the crates tumbled down and hit a fuel line, causing a harmless but highly visible burst of steam. Marcus, startled by the noise, bent down to pick up a wrench he had dropped. The assassin, attempting a second shot, lost their balance when a pigeon-like alien bird unexpectedly landed on their helmet. The assassin fell, triggering their emergency grappling system, which malfunctioned and left them hanging upside down in full view of the spaceport crowd. The recording paused as the chamber erupted into incredulous murmurs. Ambassador Jern of the Avarice Syndicate let out a frustrated squawk. "This is absurd. Are you telling us that a human survived an assassination attempt because of birds and wrenches?" Lex mist flared faintly. "Ambassador, this is but one example of hundreds. The more complex the plan, the more chaotic the outcome. The science behind the chaos." Supreme Chancellor Oren raised a crystalline appendage, his form flickering with unease. "This explanation of improbability and randomness is unsatisfactory. Have there been any attempts to study humans scientifically, to understand what makes them so uniquely disruptive?" Lek nodded. "Several studies have been conducted, both covertly and overtly. The results have only deepened the mystery." The holographic display shifted to show a series of graphs and charts. Biologically, humans are unremarkable. Their musculature, bone density, and sensory capabilities are average compared to most galactic species. However, their neural architecture is unique. Human brains are highly adaptable, capable of rapidly forming new neural connections in response to stress or danger. This adaptability, combined with their innate creativity, allows them to solve problems in ways that defy conventional logic. She paused, letting the information sink in. But it goes beyond biology. Experiments involving probability fields and quantum simulations have revealed that humans generate a measurable chaos field, a subtle distortion in localized probability that seems to favor their survival. Ambassador Vret's claws clicked nervously. "A chaos field? Are you saying humans unconsciously alter reality?" Lek's voice was grim. "We do not know if it is unconscious or merely a byproduct of their existence. What we do know is that this field is strongest in situations of high stress or danger, which explains why they often prevail against overwhelming odds." The diplomatic consequences. Ambassador Jern stood abruptly, his feathers puffed in agitation. "This is a threat to galactic stability. If humans can bend probability itself, what's to stop them from using this ability to dominate us all?" Lek's mist darkened. "And yet they haven't. Despite their potential, humans have shown little interest in conquest. Their focus remains on exploration, creativity, and survival. If anything, they seem entirely unaware of the chaos they cause." The chamber fell silent at her words. It was true. Humanity had not sought power or influence within the galaxy. They had no great fleets, no vast empires, and yet they had inadvertently become a force to be reckoned with. Supreme Chancellor Oren's crystalline body shimmered faintly. "If this is true, then the Council must consider its next steps carefully. Humans may not be a threat now, but their very existence challenges the fundamental principles of order and probability upon which our societies are built." Meanwhile, on Earth, far from the deliberations of the Galactic Council, humanity remained blissfully unaware of the chaos they had sown. In a small repair shop on Earth, Marcus Reed was tinkering with a malfunctioning toaster. He had no idea that his actions on Alturas Prime had sparked a galactic crisis. As Marcus adjusted a loose wire, a small power surge caused the toaster to emit a loud pop. "Huh," he muttered. "Guess I'll need a new circuit board." He set the toaster aside and reached for his coffee, oblivious to the fact that his seemingly insignificant actions had once again disrupted the plans of an assassin watching him through a distant surveillance drone. The drone, overloaded by the sudden power fluctuation, malfunctioned and crashed into a nearby fountain. The operative piloting it cursed under their breath and retreated, marking yet another failure in the Guild's records. For Marcus, it was just another uneventful day. For the galaxy, it was proof that humanity's improbable survival was a phenomenon that no amount of planning or precision could overcome. When the galaxy tried to understand humanity, the Galactic Council was reeling. The revelations about humanity's improbably consistent survival defied reason, science, and millennia of understanding about the universe. No species had ever caused such widespread bewilderment among the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. Humans didn't just exist, they thrived on chaos, bending reality around themselves in ways that no one could explain. The Council couldn't ignore the problem any longer. It was decided. Humanity would become the subject of the most comprehensive study ever conducted in the galaxy's history. The project would involve physicists, biologists, sociologists, and even psionics, all tasked with uncovering the mystery of human resilience. What the Council didn't know was that their attempts to analyze humanity would plunge them into a spiral of absurdity far beyond anything they could have imagined. The Research Initiative. Supreme Chancellor Orin convened a special session of the Council to launch the initiative. Representatives from every major species were present, each determined to contribute their expertise to the project. "The stakes are clear," Orin announced. His crystalline form shimmered with a faintly purple hue, indicating a mix of determination and unease. If we cannot understand the human phenomenon, then we cannot predict its implications for the galaxy. Ignorance is no longer an option. Director Leck of the Guild of Silent Shadows was among those present. Despite her guild's humiliating failures, she volunteered its resources for the study. "If we are to coexist with humanity," she said, her bioluminescent mist flickering faintly, "then we must understand how they defy the fundamental rules of probability and causality." A team of elite researchers was assembled, led by Professor Xerix of the Zephyric Collective, a species renowned for their unparalleled analytical minds. Xerix's liquid-like body shimmered as she addressed the Council. "We will approach this methodically," she declared. "No variable will be ignored. No data will be overlooked. We will unravel the human enigma." The galaxy was optimistic. It wouldn't stay that way for long. Phase 1. Biological Studies. The first step of the initiative was to study human biology in depth. The researchers began by collecting samples from willing human volunteers, blood, tissue, DNA, and analyzing them in state-of-the-art laboratories across the galaxy. At first, everything seemed normal. Human DNA was relatively straightforward, and their physiology was unremarkable compared to other species. But then the anomalies began to appear. One research team attempted to isolate a human's stress hormones under laboratory conditions. They exposed the subject to a simulated life-threatening situation, expecting a flood of cortisol and adrenaline. Instead, the human laughed. "Is this some kind of joke?" the lead researcher demanded. The human shrugged. "If it's my time to go, I might as well go out laughing." When questioned further, the human explained that the simulation reminded them of a scene from an old Earth movie. The researchers were baffled. How could humor override the body's natural survival mechanisms? The anomalies didn't stop there. A human subject exposed to extreme cold survived far longer than any model predicted. Another, who accidentally ingested a compound classified as a mild toxin for most species, described the experience as spicy and asked for seconds. "This isn't science," Professor Xerix muttered in frustration. "It's chaos wrapped in flesh." Phase 2. Sociological Studies. Determined to understand how humans behaved in groups, the researchers turned their attention to human society. They observed human interactions in various environments: workplaces, homes, schools, and even recreational activities. What they discovered was a paradox. Humans were capable of extraordinary cooperation, forming complex organizations and alliances. Yet, at the same time, they thrived on competition and conflict. During one observation, a team watched a human group attempt to build a structure out of simple materials. The project devolved into chaos within minutes. Arguments erupted over the best approach, tools were misplaced, and the plans were ignored. Yet, somehow, the structure was completed, twice as large and 3 times as sturdy as the original design. How did this happen? One alien researcher asked. A human shrugged. We winged it. The researchers attempted to replicate the process with members of their own species. It failed miserably. Phase 3. Probability testing. It was during the probability tests that the galaxy's researchers began to question their own sanity. The goal was simple: determine whether humans truly disrupted probability fields or if their apparent luck was merely a statistical outlier. A human volunteer was asked to perform tasks under controlled conditions. These included throwing dice, navigating obstacle courses, and solving puzzles. In every case, improbable outcomes emerged. One test involved a standard 6-sided die. The human was instructed to roll it 10 times. The results: 10 sixes in a row. That's impossible, Professor Xerix whispered, her liquid form rippling in disbelief. It's just dice, the human replied with a grin. The researchers tried again, using weighted dice and ensuring no external interference. The human rolled 10 sixes again. The tests became more elaborate. A machine designed to predict the outcome of coin flips failed whenever a human flipped the coin. A probability simulation designed to map likely outcomes of a maze broke down entirely when humans were introduced. In one final desperate test, the researchers asked a human to simply walk across a room without incident. The human slipped on a stray cable, collided with a shelf, and accidentally triggered a sequence of events that solved a complex mathematical theorem that had stumped the galaxy's greatest minds for centuries. Phase 4. Cultural analysis. If the biological, sociological, and probability studies had baffled the researchers, their exploration of human culture left them utterly dumbfounded. Human art, music, and literature were filled with contradictions. Some works celebrated order and logic, while others reveled in chaos and absurdity. Humans seemed equally capable of crafting detailed plans and abandoning them in favor of spontaneous improvisation. The researchers analyzed human sayings and proverbs, hoping to glean insight into their mindset. Instead, they found phrases like "go with the flow," "fake it till you make it," and "it is what it is." None of these offered any clarity. One alien linguist attempted to decipher a human comedy routine. After several hours, they gave up and filed for a leave of absence, muttering about cultural incomprehensibility. The breaking point. The initiative's final report was delivered to the Galactic Council 6 months after its inception. The findings were summarized in a single line. Humans are an anomaly that cannot be understood through conventional means. The Council erupted into chaos. Delegates demanded answers, accusing the researchers of incompetence. Professor Xerix, exhausted and visibly frazzled, addressed the assembly. "We have done everything possible," she said, her voice trembling. "We have analyzed their biology, studied their society, tested their probability fields, and examined their culture. The results are always the same. Humans defy logic. They thrive on chaos. They laugh in the face of danger, and they succeed where failure should be inevitable. If you want my professional opinion, here it is. Don't try to understand humans. Just accept them." Meanwhile, on Earth, unaware of the galaxy's existential crisis, humanity continued living as they always had. In a small cafe in New York City, a man spilled his coffee on his laptop and accidentally coded a revolutionary algorithm that would eventually be used to stabilize galactic trade routes. In a remote village, a child invented a game involving sticks and rocks that would one day inspire a new propulsion system for interstellar travel. For humans, it was just another day. For the galaxy, it was a reminder that understanding humanity wasn't just impossible, it was unnecessary.